Christ is in our midst. I am Rita Ioannis, and this is
Derek.
And I'd like to welcome you to God Orthodoxy, our weekly video podcast here on YouTube. Here, get the cat. Somebody get the cat. Get the cat, Derek. Hi there. Bring the cat back.
She's gonna bite my head off.
Cat. Okay. Due to unforeseen circumstances, OrthoCat could not be with us, right, Derek?
Yes, she is. Today I'm going to interview Rita Ioannis and about something.
What is it like being a reader? You know, when I first became a reader, I actually felt like, you know, being a reader, but now, it feels like being a reader. Feels like being a reader, yeah.
What is it like to wear a cassock?
Now, that is a good question. What is it like to wear a cassock? Well, you know, we can talk about cassock style. There's styles. There's comfortable cassocks, there's uncomfortable cassocks, there's really comfortable cassocks, and then there's just not comfortable cassocks. My cassocks tend to be pretty comfortable because I've lost a lot of weight over Lent. This is the period of the year where they're really comfortable. You know, in the summer it gets hot, you know. Depends what you're wearing underneath the cassock. If you're wearing a t-shirt and pants, and track pants as I'm now, or if you're wearing a dress shirt with dress pants, it gets, you know, really, you know. People look at you in the street, and you know, that's fine. It's something different. They don't see it every day. I don't feel uncomfortable wearing a cassock. No, not at all. Anyway, next question.
How do you feel about Greek Orthodoxy over the
OCA? Not only the OCA, but other jurisdictions too, right? What do I feel? Well, I'll be honest with you. It was, you know, even now theologically now, Orthodoxy, the church, the right worship of God began in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve. Who are we kidding? They are the first members of the church, right? Adam and Eve. They worship God and with purity of faith and all that, right? And purity of heart. Yeah. Now after the fall, you know, we have the Old Covenant. And then we have the New Covenant, which is, you know, it's the Old Testament church and the New Testament church. Well, the culture of the Old Testament church was Jewish. The culture of the New Testament church is Greek. But it's not exclusively Greek. Like, it was Greek for the first 1,000 years or so, right? But then with the conversion of the Slavs and stuff. So you don't have to be Greek to be Orthodox. Do you know what I mean?
No.
But you don't know what I mean?
I do know what I mean.
You don't know what I mean, yeah. But Orthodoxy, I forget who said this, but it could have been Father Alexander Schmemann, but please do not quote me. Father Alexander Schmemann said that, again, don't quote me, that Orthodoxy met Hellenism at a time when Hellenism was dying, and Hellenism was baptized into the font of Orthodoxy, and that's what gave it life. So really, there wouldn't be a Hellenic identity today if it wasn't for the Orthodox Church. Much like if the Greek Christians had not converted the Slavs, you wouldn't really have a Russian. What would Russia be without Orthodoxy? What would Serbia be without Orthodoxy? You know, what would Bulgaria? What would all these Slavic countries be without Orthodoxy? Romania being an exception because Romania is a Latin Orthodox country. They're not Slavs. So that's what I think, you know. I think that while a lot of credit is due to the Greeks, it didn't end there, you know. Orthodoxy can be intertwined with any culture, as we see in Alaska or in Africa or in Japan and so on and so forth. It's the religion, it's the faith. It's not a religion. It's the faith. It is the truth, right? All the other religions are just man-made philosophies that somebody thought up at a point in time, you know, a deviation from the truth. While they may have certain glimpses of the truth in them, certain aspects, they don't have the fullness of the truth, which is only found in the Orthodox faith.
Except for evolution, they don't have any of the truth.
Pardon?
Except for evolution, they don't have
any of the truth.
I was speaking to a person who believed in evolution once, but he also believed in God, which I thought was pretty ironic.
Oh, I know somebody like that too, and that somebody who watches Orthodoxy knows who he is. Keep going.
And so he was like, well, I believe in God. I believe God made everything, but I believe that God made monkeys or apes that turned into humans. And I said, so you've got that God looked like a monkey?
That's my issue.
Yeah, he made us in his image.
That means he has the image of a monkey.
Yeah.
That must mean God's a monkey. All those who believe in evolution have a monkey for a god.
And
have a monkey for a god.
That's
how stupid they are. They're a bunch of monkeys.
Yes.
And who knows what else they're going to evolve in. In 1,000 years, they could be. They could be Lego Man for all I know. Right? They could evolve into Lego. Some godforsaken,
yes,
mutilation.
And God will still be a monkey.
God will still be a monkey. Wow. That's how messed up the whole theory of evolution is.
Yeah.
Thinking that God cannot make mankind in his image and his likeness. He has to actually use a monkey. Why? That's basically saying because God's an idiot and he can't do it, right there?
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, that's just people who believe in both Christianity and...
Oh yeah, and there are lots of those too.
Other ones who say, well, there was never a God, so...
Well, of course, yeah. There was never a God. We just came here randomly.
Yeah. We evolved from germs.
So, Derek, I've been hearing the word sketchy lately, and I mean, when I was in high school, we never used the word sketchy at all, actually. Maybe you can tell what the word sketchy is and what it means.
Well, the word sketchy means that you are a little... And, maybe you creep people out.
Right.
And something kinda, I don't know if you can call it sketchy, but something funny. Sure, and I guess we were gonna call it sketchy. It happened at church once,
really?
When there was a little girl at our church and she was doing something constantly, and then finally one of the older people in the church said, "Stop it!" And you were in the middle of reading, and then right when it stop it, you stop reading.
That's right, yeah.
For a second, and then slowly started getting back up. And I guess that was kind of sketchy, that part, when you stopped reading.
Yeah, that's
Dear John, what is the sketchiest moment you think that you've ever been through?
In an Orthodox church?
In general.
Oh, well, what? First most sketchiest moment would probably be in an Orthodox church?
Sure, yeah. Orthodox church.
I can't really say on camera.
Okay, so here's some Orthodox survival tips for when Jehovah's Witness comes knocking at your door.
That's right.
So this is what we do. They knock at your door. Maybe they have a little kid with them. Who cares? Okay, so they're all dressed up fancy, right?
Now that is sketchy.
It's, oh yeah. And so they come to your door and say hello there. And they say, hey, we have some nice, happy news about Jesus. And so all you gotta do is say, hang on 1 minute. Go get your holy water. And then go up to them and say, oh boy. And say, what is it that they say? Say, let God arise and let their enemies be scattered. Let those who hate the Lord flee from his face. And sprinkle them with holy water. And then,
does this include Mormons too?
Yeah, Mormons too. Well, they might try to kill you. But I know the Jehovah's Witnesses, they'll run. Because they know they're wrong. And so that's how you get rid of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Okay, this is really cool. On behalf of myself and Derek Dreamin, I'd like to thank you for watching God Orthodoxy and listening to all our randomness. May the all Holy Trinity always protect you. Glory to Jesus Christ.
Glory forever.
Glory forever.